I grew up in an average family. Me, mom, dad, and two of my siblings weren't remarkable in any way, but we were still happy and got along with each other. That is, until my father died.
It's just so inappropriate. Like, you can't just say anything and hide behind the guise that you're telling a kid's story. You have to have some responsibility. I'm sorry. Let's turn into a rant. I didn't want to end on a sour note, but I don't know how to end. Jarvis died. Hi, I'm Jarvis, and welcome back to the bad times. Things are bad now, but on the bright side, they're not good. Today we'll be talking about awful animated story channels on YouTube, which I've done before, and it hasn't helped, so maybe fifth time's the charm. Where we last left our heroes, there were multiple monetized YouTube channels telling sensational, inappropriate, and honestly boring animated stories.
I'm sorry, I can't get into details.
That are animated cheaply and voiced by a fluent English speaker who is reading a script written for them by someone for whom English is clearly not their first language.
You know that milestone that any man prefers to see far ahead, but alas, I knew it must be done. I met them nicely, I should tell you.
All of this under the guise that these stories are true.
I want to tell you a detective story, which happened to me for real.
And submitted by one of their very young viewers, I presume. I don't know, because we're not supposed to know if they're under 13. Usually, the topics of these stories range from horrible things.
The leader picked me up and made me lie down in the coffin. Then they shut the lid.
Rare things.
In this video, I'm going to tell you how I became one of the richest people on Earth, even though I was only a stupid teenager.
And last but not least, horrible and rare things.
I caught a 1 in a billion disease.
Nearly all of these stories are, stolen from popular media, literally plagiarized off of Reddit. What are the odds that this oddly specific story was also posted to the Today I Fucked Up subreddit 3 years ago? Or I don't know, just like riddled with logistical errors that make them provably untrue.
He wanted to drop me off in his helicopter like he used to at my old school.
And if you watch any of my other videos about this topic, you'll know that despite the fact that there are a lot of these channels, they're all exactly the same. I searched the term "my dad is a deputy" and it comes up on 4 of these channels. Actually Happened, which is the first of these channels I ever talked about, was last seen telling the life stories of celebrities like Oprah.
My name is Oprah Winfrey.
And Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
As if these people actually collaborated with their channel, which definitely didn't happen. The other day, somebody sent me one of Actually Happened's newest videos. Before, the Oprah video was called like, I wore a potato sack dress to school and now I'm famous. And the Jackie Chan video is called, and I quote, my parents left me to die, but I survived and became a star. Their newest video is just called, I am Billie Eilish. And I'm a bad guy. Also, I've noticed that these channels are trying to engage with their audience in the community tab, but it's always really strange. Like Actually Happened is just posting about how now pets are telling their crazy stories. So I think we've left believability a long time ago. My Story, for example, which is probably the worst of the worst that I've ever talked about. They had a video called I Got Pregnant at 12, and it was as bad as it sounds.
My mom was crying, and I just sat there feeling completely empty. Well, aside from my baby.
They've started posting emo community posts like, hi, unfortunately, about 3 weeks ago, YouTube has unexpectedly and baselessly, all reports in our analytics are excellent, cut the view count for our videos. It's dropped below 1/5 of what it used to be. You know, it's really disheartening to see that the bigwigs at YouTube don't want such inspirational stories as I married a 94-year-old grandpa when I was just 16 shown to more people. And then in that same post, they poll their audience about their favorite art style. Okay, moving on. Also, I think that these channels are starting to become aware that there are people on YouTube, like myself, calling them out for their nonsense. Because My Story Animated, whose bullshit we have definitely discussed before and we'll discuss again today, posted, we get many requests from YouTubers that want to make reaction videos to our stories. You don't need our approval to do them. We'll allow any YouTuber to make them freely. We also love to watch them. So when you make a video, send us an email with the link and we may feature it on our channel. But if your video ideas to spread negativity about us or in general, then you don't have our permission. Are they talking about me? Am I beefing with My Story Animated? On second thought, you know, they're right. wouldn't want to spread any negativity to their followers. Thankfully, after increased criticism and scrutiny, these channels have finally realized that they need to turn over a new leaf, and a bunch of them have started closing up shop. Just kidding, they're multiplying at an alarming rate. In my last video about this, I complained about how these channels are like easy to make and seem very profitable. And that's why we were starting to see a lot of them crop up. Since I made my last video, there are like 6 other ripoff channels at least. So naive, young Jarvis. From the distant past of 90 days ago. Before I was like, there are like 6 of these channels and that's a lot. Now there's 27 according to my count. First I made a list myself of all the channels I knew about, but then I knew I was missing some, so I asked people on Instagram. I shit you not, I'm not making these up. Actually happened. Animate my story. My story animated. My crazy story. My story shared. My story world. Just my story, Dory story, dear story, clip story, share my story, short stories, story time animated, teen stories, true stories animated. Can we put a beat to that? Dory story, dear story, clip story. I am just one man and I couldn't look at all of these, but I did pick a few at random, and oh my God, they're all so horrible. Real amazing stories. I didn't even mention that one in the song. The stories are real and amazing. Sign me up. Let's see what this channel is all about. Real Amazing Stories is a digital platform that provides people with the opportunity to share their most interesting... Where have I heard this before?
My Story Animated describes themselves as a digital platform that provides people with the opportunity to share their most interesting in life.
And I think when My Story Animated started, they had copied all the metadata from Actually Happened. So really it's just plagiarism all the way down.
I caught a 1 in a billion disease. And now I'm a genius.
That is indeed the title. How old is this guy supposed to be? Because he sounds 55.
After hearing that title, you might assume this is some fiasco where I got bitten by a spider or similar creature and I turned into the next Albert Einstein.
No, I think that you turned into Spider-Man if you were bitten by a spider. To turn into Einstein, I would assume you'd have to be bitten by a tiny German physicist.
I was born just like any other child.
Well, now I doubt it. This is like the least human way to describe birth. I was born just like any other child. I was hatched out of my mother's egg.
Whimpering at my existence and wishing to escape, even though I'd barely spent moments in this godforsaken universe.
What are you talking about? That is not what most babies think about. Clearly this guy was already a science genius at birth. You know, most babies are like goo goo gaga, and this guy was like, what is our place in the universe? Anyway, our protagonist is a 19-year-old waiter at a bar, and working at a bar, he saw some crazy stuff.
When I was there, I'd see drunk people every day.
You saw drunk people at a bar?
And they'd often leave with a lady or two.
The clashing of art styles is really upsetting. You've got like stock cartoon drunk, I don't know, teenagers, and also infographic girls.
I couldn't even score a single girl for myself.
I want to call out the toxic masculinity in this, but it just hits different with his like movie trailer voice. This summer, there's drunk people at the bar, and I couldn't score a single girl. New Line Cinema presents Dry. It's just called Dry because it's a pun about his sex life and also alcohol. So he goes on and on talking about how boring his life is until one fateful day when he, while he's cleaning up, discovers a magical bottle of liquid on the ground.
I saw a small plastic bag. I thought it might be just some trash.
It was.
Curiosity kind of got my better half, and so I checked the bottle in the bag. And with it, there was a label attached. Drink to attract women instantly.
Drink to attract women? This guy's a PewDiePie fan.
Well, I licked my lips. This bottle was the answer to all my problems. But what could it be? Obviously a joke, right?
Obviously poison. I found a bottle of trash on the ground, and I had no choice but to drink it. After all, if a bottle of garbage offers to help you with women, you don't question it.
And I was about to throw the whole thing out until I started thinking, you know what? What do you got to lose?
Everything. You have literally everything to lose.
What do you got to lose? You only live once, right?
Do you only live once?
Whatever it was in that bottle, I gulped it down in a second.
Probably pee. You drank pee.
I admit the flavor was actually kind of nice.
Haha, got him.
And I wanted more.
This actually sounds like the sad story of how this guy becomes an alcoholic. Maybe that's not something to joke about, I don't know.
So I kept the bottle with me.
So he drinks the bottle of poison and it changes nothing, except he's feeling a little bit more confident about himself, y'all. So, for example, his neighbor's dog pooped on the sidewalk.
I saw my neighbor's dog doing his business in the yard.
And he told his neighbor to pick it up. So he's genius.
I was amazed.
And then another amazing story of his new powers are when he's at college, where he attends despite the fact that he sounds like a 59-year-old man. He managed to convince the professor to not fail him for not turning his assignments. And get this.
I convinced my professor that I had had an emergency, and that's why I couldn't get my assignments done.
And he believed it. Genius! So he's drunk with power and also drunk with alcohol, because that's clearly what's happening here. And after asking his boss for a raise, which he receives, he goes into the bathroom to look into the mirror and see what he's become. On his search for answers to questions like, why do people do things when I ask them to, he rereads the label of the bottle of poison, which he still has for some reason, and it provides him with a valuable insight.
The message beneath the bottle was, drinking this liquid will make you have a rare disease that 1 in a billion has.
Well, that explains it. No further questions here.
Now everything was crystal clear to me.
Why was it clear exactly? All you know is that you maybe have a disease.
I had a rare disease that allowed me to convince anyone just by using my words.
The disease is that he's kind of persuasive. So then he has a realization that he can use his newfound disease to score some chicks.
The next morning, as soon as I got to the college, my eyes looked for Sophie.
That's such a weird phrase, because it sounds like he took out his eyes and he's like, okay, now you go find Sophie.
Can you guess who my wife is now? Sophie.
You know, maybe all this time, the real 1 in a billion disease was true love. Right, ladies?
After successfully attaining Sophie,
attaining her, the object, after finally acquiring his prized possession of a human woman, he meets her father, who's a big rich businessman, who gives our little patient Zero the business, if you know what I'm saying. He literally gives him his business. What were you thinking?
he made me the owner, thanks to my disease.
Why do they keep calling it a disease? You could have gone with anything else. Like, I don't know, magic potion. It would be just as fake, but at least it would make some sense. I mean, we know what diseases are. Then he marries the woman of his dreams, and they live happily ever after.
And I'm the wealthiest man in my state.
That too, man. A lot of these stories obsess over bad things happening to pretty people for some reason, and this story is one of them. It's called I Got Suspended for Being Too Pretty. This is Elizabeth.
Hey, I'm Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth.
And I grew up in a very dangerous neighborhood.
Just like so many animated story characters before her, Elizabeth is the rare breed of person who has never had a good thing happen to her ever.
To make things worse, my dad left my mom when I was just a baby, so we had no one to protect us.
Your mom can also protect you, you know. She don't need no man. Elizabeth's life is bad, but she's also very pretty. So to protect her, her mom never lets her leave the house and forces her to dress up like a rapper from 2003.
You might think that being pretty made me one of the popular girls in school, but that wasn't the case.
To make matters worse, she's being bullied by the other kids for being too pretty, you know, classic bullying tale. But on the bright side, she does have exactly one friend.
I did have one good friend, though. Her name was Marie.
Her name was Velma, and she hung out with a ragtag group of misfits and a dog who solved mysteries together on the weekends.
She never seemed to care what other people thought of her.
Velma? She's a bit of a nerd, but she owned it. Can't relate.
She was really into comic books and stuff, even though the other kids said it was dumb.
Wait, Sasuke doesn't like comic books? One day in the girls' bathroom, Elizabeth catches some other equally pretty girls making fun of Velma.
One day, I went to the bathroom and caught Taya, Rachel, and some other popular girls.
The popular girls! They also all wear the same color. Like, there's no variety. There's no Buttercup or Bubbles. Taya, she is the blonde and the leader. Rachel, she is also blonde and the leader. Other girls, they're there too. The popular girls ruin the day.
Writing some really nasty things about Marie in lipstick on the walls.
Elizabeth tries to defend her friend, but the popular girls, who need I remind you are also pretty, make fun of Elizabeth for being pretty.
Oh, Miss Pretty thinks she's better than us. Better watch your back. You won't be pretty forever.
And then they frame her for murder. Well, minor vandalism.
Then they went to the principal, Mr. Clayton, and told him they'd seen me writing the graffiti onto the bathroom walls.
Anyway, she ends up in the principal's office.
I tried to tell him I didn't do it.
And then the principal suspends Elizabeth in Comic Sans. That's how you know it's serious.
Most of the time, being pretty makes your life easier.
That's the moral, I guess, because then the story just ends with no resolution. But it's not the end of the video, no, because then they just start playing a completely unrelated story.
Recently, though, I had another problem.
You know, to waste your time.
I'm working in sales and I have a female boss.
Wait a second, how old are you? You were just in school and now you work in sales? They weirdly included the fact that she has a female boss, so you know the shit's about to get sexist. And it does.
I was the only one who didn't get a bonus.
Elizabeth was passed over for a bonus because her woman boss got woman jealous of Elizabeth's good looks.
I had no idea what she was talking about.
You know how women get.
She was actually just jealous of my looks.
They turned into Fry from Futurama. I don't make the rules. But really, this is sexist as all hell. And if you thought it couldn't get any worse, you're not thinking very hard. The story ends with her interviewing for a new job where she's excited because the boss seems into her. So she thinks she has a chance.
Yesterday, I had my first interview, and I was lucky because the interviewer was a guy. So maybe my looks will actually help me get a new job.
Gross.
Anyways, thank you for listening to my story.
What exactly is the lesson that they're trying to teach us here? If you're too pretty, girls are gonna be bad because they're gonna be jealous, and boys are nice because they're gonna be into you. So that's life. That video has 8 million views. And not that I have to point this out because it's obvious, but it's classified as education. For these last 2 videos, I wanted to revisit one of my personal favorite fake animated story channels, My Story Animated, because somehow, after all these years, they're still tugging at my heartstrings. I got pregnant from swimming with my friends.
My life was over. Bury me. Forget about me. Over.
Call Will Smith from Men in Black and tell him to wipe my memory clean.
I had gotten pregnant from swimming in a pool.
I mean, dumb question. You can't get pregnant from a pool, right? Like, no.
I had to skip town. Could I fake my death?
It turns out that this video is a lie. It's not about a girl who got pregnant from swimming in a pool. It's actually about nothing. There's a girl who kisses her crush in the 5th grade, and she thinks that she's pregnant. Then she talks to her crush, who explains to her that that's not how pregnancy works, and that's the whole story. And they stretch that story, which was 1 sentence, into 14 minutes. And they do this by introducing one idea and then re-explaining that idea in 100 different ways using different pop culture references.
So how did I, a cute little snack?
So how did I, a cute little snack?
So how did I, a cute little snack, end up getting knocked up in a pool?
In a pool?
My name's Felicia, and yeah, I know what you're thinking. I must be so stupid.
Oh, I was expecting Bye Felicia. I was expecting a reference to Bye Felicia. That's what I was thinking. Not that you were stupid. My actual thought is confusion, because how did you get pregnant from swimming with your friends? Are your friends sperm? She was raised really religious.
I was raised with a bitty little statue of crucified Jesus.
I'm sorry, what? A bitty little statue of crucified Jesus?
Do you know what else that meant? No Harry Potter. No Pokemon. No TV shows.
What? You couldn't watch The Late Late Show with James Corden?
From the get-go, I was that weird girl at school. The one who gets gum in her hair and tacks on her chair.
They just said that because it rhymed. Didn't make any sense. The girl who gets gum in her hair, tacks on her chair, her tire's always flat so she needs a spare. Due to her parents' reliance on prayer, had never put a penis in there, and now she's pregnant, and that's not fair.
I was dumb and like 11.
Don't talk about yourself like that. That's bad. That's negative self-talk. That builds some toxic behaviors that can be hard to undo in adulthood. So, forgive yourself. Come on.
The talk happened at our school. You know that god-awful day where they separate the kids and shove the girls in a dark room to watch a video about periods?
So I guess because she was raised religious, her mom didn't want her to take sex ed. She barges into the 5th grade classroom And Felicia's embarrassed, but that doesn't stop the pop culture references.
The door of the classroom launched open like the Hulk himself had business to take care of. I wanted to be yeeted into a hole.
You wanted to be what into a hole? Who is writing these scripts? They're yeeting now. The animated story channels are yeeting. I'm gonna skip over the rest of the story, but at some point she meets her crush.
Specifically, Miles.
And goes to a pool party with him where she notably never swims, and they have their first kiss.
It wasn't a peck either. No. I may be a nerd, but that doesn't mean I was gonna stop at a little peck. I kissed him.
I kissed him. Kissed him. Now for the final story, which I saved for last. My stepmom Chest ripped my family apart.
My name is Anna, and my stepmom threw me out of the house, so that's why I'm now a homeless person that eats food scraps out of dumpsters.
Whoa, 7 seconds into the video?
My parents got divorced after my mom discovered that my dad cheated on her with a waitress. My mom gave up custody of me. It was her way of teaching my dad about responsibility.
What? Her mom gave away... That's not how that works. Hold on.
My mom gave up custody of me. It was her way of teaching my dad about responsibility.
That's a weird way to teach a lesson. Just letting your daughter's life hang in the balance while you use her as a pawn of revenge on your cheating husband. Go to therapy.
3 weeks later, my dad married that waitress. It was clear that he only did it because of her enormous breasts.
What?
My stepmom was so mean to me. I once broke a dish, and she screamed hysterically in my face and called me a savage.
All right, I gotta be honest, that was pretty savage. So her evil stepmom makes Anna compete with the dog for food, and when she complains to her father, who famously has a history of negligence, he's like, this is fine.
He thought that she was raising me well.
So now she's starving.
I walked out and headed to the yard where I kept a few little rats.
Excuse me? Sorry? Wait, what?
I fed them some bits of bread.
Oh, thank God. I thought she was gonna eat the rats.
My favorite rat looked sick, so I took him back into the house with me.
Like many other famous animated characters before her, she has a wicked stepmother. So she's friends with rats and can talk to them, I guess? Because she then convinces Brownie the rat to terrorize her stepmother, and that prompts her to kick Anna out of the house, which her dad is fine with because adults can't be trusted in Disney movies. I mean, animated stories. So she goes back to her mom's place, who, need I remind you, inexplicably disowned her to teach her father a lesson, and who answers the door but her new boy toy, who is also evil.
I heard my mom in the background asking, "Who is it?" "Just the pizza boy. He got the wrong address," and slammed the door shut in my face.
How does this boyfriend even know anything about... How long could they have been dating? Oh, by the way, new boyfriend. Fun fact about me, I have a daughter that I've given away, so if she ever comes to the door, shut it in her face. And here's what she looks like so that you can recognize her face for shutting. So now she's homeless, and she discovers a homeless encampment where she is immediately captured by their leader for nefarious purposes, I presume. Luckily, thanks to her control over rats, she is able to escape while wearing the Steven Universe outfit.
I stood next to a dumpster to catch my breath.
Shortly after her escape, she discovers a cat eating a Big Mac.
It was like a dream come true for me.
Why? Why is that a dream come true?
I leaned forward to share the meal with the cat. I tried to act like a cat so that it would think that I was a cat too.
Because cats are dumb.
I got down on all fours, but the cat wasn't as stupid as I was.
Because cats are smart.
My plan didn't work.
She's then discovered by a man who offers to feed her McDonald's, but because this is an animated story and all adults are bad, he kidnaps her and, I shit you not, tries to steal her kidneys.
Oh my gosh, I had been kidnapped and now they were planning to steal my kidney.
That cat with a Big Mac turned out to be a trap after all.
Just because he'd bought me a McDonald's meal didn't mean that I now owed him my kidney in return.
No shit. How is this story giving a kidney bandit the benefit of the doubt? Anyway, she makes a break for it.
However, he was faster than me, and he grabbed me.
And he was Ant-Man, and he grew to the size of a building.
I kicked the other operating table so hard that the other patient fell off of it. He screamed in my face. "You stupid girl, what have you done?"
You know, he's pretty calm for a time of such intense stress. He doesn't like curse her out or anything.
Oh, fiddlesticks, you silly girl. You foiled my kidney-stealing plot.
At that moment, I managed to escape from the room. Little Brownie was scratching at the door with his claws.
The mouse is there too? Anyway, Anna slowly, and I do mean slowly, figures out what's going on here.
That guy wasn't even a doctor.
This wasn't a hospital at all.
Was I supposed to be their human mouse lab?
Was I supposed to be their human mouse lab? What on earth does that mean? Anna waits for the perfect time to strike and then commands her little mouse friend, who apparently knows English, to bite the evil organ thief.
I could swear that Brownie was the bravest rat I ever met.
And the smartest rat.
He caused the man's ear to bleed, and I heard him crying like a little child as he started running away from us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the guy who was literally about to steal your kidney is not going to be deterred by a mouse that bit his ear. He's running on adrenaline. He's stealing kidneys. She eventually escapes and is discovered this time by a young adult animal rescue boy. I say young adult because in this story all adults are bad and this guy is young.
He was an animal rescuer who rescued stray dogs, treated them, then put them up for adoption.
He gives her a job at the animal rescue, probably because she can talk to animals, and she trains an army of rats to terrorize her evil stepmother and parents because she doesn't have a family, but she does have her rats.
I would simply have to show them a picture of my stepmother's ugly face and work on tricks that should get them to chase her. I'll confess that it was a lot of effort.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's impossible.
It wasn't long before the screams of my dad and his wife filled the air. They ran out of the house.
The basis of this entire story is that everyone is terrified of rats and doesn't just call an exterminator. And Anna is a Pokemon trainer who's somehow got command over an army of rats. The title of this story is about her stepmom's boobs, by the way.
It might have been the hardest year of my life, but it was okay.
It might have been the hardest year of my life. What a great conclusion. It might have been the hardest year of my life. I was kicked out of my home. I was a homeless child living next to a dumpster. I was then taken in by my abusive stepmother, where I was treated like a dog. After I escaped, I was drugged and nearly had my kidney stolen by an evil, rich kidney bandit. But it was okay.
Everybody can make their life better if they really try.
They're like speeding to a resolution right now.
Hey, at least I still have my kidney.
If ever things are going bad in your life, think to yourself, hey, at least I have my kidney and a rat who I can control.
So guys, what did you think of my story?
I thought it was pretty weird, to be honest. A little unbelievable in the literal sense. Just a refresher, this video is called My Stepmom Chest Ripped My Family Apart. But what it should be called is I Am the Rat Queen. I don't like these videos, and they don't seem to be stopping. The opposite, honestly. Are the stories real? Are the kids real? Are we real? The answer to all these questions is a resounding maybe. One thing that's changed since the last time I talked about these channels is COPPA, and you can, I'm not the right person to describe that, but it has to do with kids channels on YouTube and needing to classify your channel as a kids channel if you make content for kids. So I'm really curious to see if these channels are classifying themselves as being for kids channels, because right now they're putting stuff in education. I think I'm going to make a video in a few weeks documenting the process of me making my own fake animated story channel, so subscribe if you'd like to see that. But if this nonsense is going to go on forever, then I'd like to be yeeted into a hole. Thanks to Colin Rowan Lee Kevlahan for sending me a message on Instagram. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. If you want me to butcher your name, then follow me on the Instagram. Thanks to everyone who supported my most recent merch drop. I'm really excited about it. I filmed this video in the merch because I was originally gonna promote it, but then I didn't finish the video in time, so it's gone. But in the spirit of the holidays, I'm gonna do two things. One, you can use promo code consolation for 20% off. And two, a lot of people have asked about the Crying My Best design, which is a joke from a long time ago, but it's also a fun shirt. So I'm bringing that back for the holidays in case you wanna nab that up. Nab that up. This video's over. I don't know what that means.